Hello and welcome everybody, I am SocioPsycho and today we'll be looking at Meltdown, a game by Phenomenon Games, originally made into an Android and iOS game. Now you're thinking, oh no, it's a port, but this is actually pretty decent, and by pretty I mean very. The port was actually done quite well and the developers seem to actually care that the game succeeds on the PC, which is nice to have that sort of attention. Now the graphics quality of the game is not anything really amazing, but they still offer you an option to change it if for some reason your computer is having issues running it. Control types are mouse and keys and gamepad. Now the mouse and keys are actually well mapped out, as there's not much of movability necessary or commands to what you do. You basically move forward, get behind cover, spacebar to leap over cover, and dodge. Those are pretty much your commands. They gave different ways of changing your weapons that are already mapped out. Even though there's not a way to rebind your keys, it's mapped out appropriately that shouldn't be an issue for anybody. The music in this game, there's nothing really to write home about, but it is decent enough to get the job done. But what's really nice is the screen resolution. And this shows that they actually care about their port, but they're not just saying, okay, here's our port, buy it, thank you, go away. They put a lot of effort into their screen resolution and options by giving a multitude of choices. And this is really important when you're talking about a port that's made for a totally different platform. And they've gone that extra way. VSync, aim assist. Now aim assist I haven't noticed much of a difference on and off, so I just left it on. Voice, this is an important one. There's an annoying little voice in the game after every time you get a power up or kill somebody with a melee weapon. It just goes off like melee kill, and it gets really annoying after a while. So if you have that same issue, this is what you want to look at. We'll keep that in mind. Now when we jump into the game itself, there's actually a good level of customization, well, weaponization I should say. You start off with an SMG, and you soonly follow to get the shotgun, and then there's a revolver, grenade launcher, flamethrower, heavy SMG, spread gun, crossbow, rocket launcher, shocker. So you have these different weapons. And one thing I like about this development, these weapons through upgrading and unlocking the other weapons, but you have a primary and secondary weapon, but they're all the same weapon. So it allows you to play in a way that you want to, and that respects me, so I appreciate that. You also have melee ability, and you start off with a basic knife. You have a chainsaw, a sword, an axe, and the almighty battle wrench. Now these are unlocked for you once you gain a certain level, and then you just purchase them with the in-game currency. That's one thing that I feel is important to note right here. There is no microtransactions, there is no issues. This is a pure PC game, even though it's a port. I don't know how it started on iOS and Android and what the format was, but there's no nonsense here. You get the full game, no bullshit around. Now, one thing to know about the weapons is you have availability to upgrade them. You see these 3 stars underneath. These are important when you look at these 3 stars. So we go into upgrade, and that means 3 abilities. So you can pick through different abilities to kind of customize. You have to go in a line, unfortunately. You can't just be like 1, 2, which kind of makes sense for balance or whatever. But you can pick up to 3 per weapon, and then once you unlock that weapon, once you maximize this weapon's capability of modding, then it will unlock a heavier arsenal of that weapon in the list itself. Such as, you upgrade the grenade launcher, which then allows the rocket launcher to be unlocked, and then you can just purchase it once you have enough money. You have plenty of skills which you can level up throughout the game to make your character feel a little bit stronger, a little more powerful, and when you have a prestige mode down here, once you unlock everything, it just keeps going, which is again nice reward for the player itself, because you feel like you're progressing, you feel like you're getting stronger, which is important. When we go into the missions, there's different types of mission modes. There's just the quick play, randomly generated missions based on your skills. There's a wave attack, pretty standard. Enemies just keep coming at you in waves until you are killed. And then you have regular missions, mini boss missions. These skull ones have what they call guardians in them, which are the same thing as mini bosses, and they just keep spawning ads. We'll show you those. And down here you have a boss mission, and it keeps going. 30 missions in all and coming soon, so I assume new armors. So I mean, that looks pretty good. I think that looks a lot more sexy than this. Like I said, this is in early access right now, so you have to take a few things. If there's a few things you don't like about this, you have to take it with a little bit grain of salt, as the devs do seem to be working and interested in the community quite well on the feedback and everything else, which is not something you always see, which is highly appreciated. So another thing is you have online and offline mode. For online mode, you can join into other people's games, which makes it, I think that's one of the best things. Playing with other people in this game is actually quite enjoyable. But for this purposes right now, we're going to start with an offline mode, so I can not feel rushed and talk to you about the basics of the game and explain to you exactly why you might want to get this or not get this. Now, if we look at the screen itself, we have our shield and our health. The shield will regenerate over time if we're not taking damage. The health will not. There are drops and pickups occasionally. Your weapons below, 1 and 2, or tab, your level. And over here, the 15, you have your money obviously. The 15, think of it as weapon augment kits. That mixed in with money will allow you to upgrade your weapons. And below that, right over here, you have, says 1 up. That means if you die completely, it'll give you the option to either leave or use one of these to resurrect on the battlefield. Now, when you die, you don't really lose anything from your character, but you do lose the progress you made through the battle. So if you choose not to resurrect, you'll have to restart or go to another mission. And so it's roguelike in that sense, which is nice. It has a more of a hardcore element, but it doesn't destroy your entire character or anything if you fail. So that's why I say roguelike, because you still keep your character. Now, some of you might be disappointed because there's no character customization capabilities, but maybe they'll add different things in the future. Maybe not. For me, that's not a big issue or selling point in this game. What matters is how the game feels and how it reacts, and it feels pretty good. When you're moving, the movements are very crisp, very easy to go to. Dodging is, quite easy. The only issue I have with a dodge animation is if you're in combat and you swipe, so we attack, I can't roll until I'm out of combat. So if I'm attacking and trying to dodge, it's going to notify the attack over the dodge, which I think should be the other way around. And that could be a real issue, because you'll be slamming the keyboard, you're like, roll, 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 and your character won't roll. There's another small issue like that when it comes to getting stun locked. Enemies will throw grenades or rockets at you, and if it hits you, knocks you back, or even knocks you down, if there's enough people that continue to throw these at you, the animation of getting back up after getting knocked down is very slow, and you may die without, you'll get hit once, and then boom, you're done for because you're stuck on the ground and you can't get up in time. And you'll see a grenade being, it's like slow motion. You see the grenade coming at you and you're like, oh great, get up, get up, get up. And he won't in time, and he'll get hit again, and he'll get knocked down again. That's something that needs to get fixed. That's a real issue. Another thing is, when you get close to cover, you automatically go into this little stealth mode. I'm not pressing anything, it just automatically does it. And you can jump over with a spacebar, right over. And this is a nice little feel to it, because it makes the game feel a bit more interactive with your environment, which is always nice. Now, as you may have noticed, this does feel a bit arcadey, and I will be honest, arcade games have not really been my style, but this one actually feels good. It's very smooth, it's very elegant, it's simple, but still delivers the point of what you need, and it gets the job done. Now, for some of you wondering, where do you get these armory upgrades or these resurrection things? Throughout the mission, you'll collect these boxes, and at the end of a mission, you'll be able to unlock these boxes. Now, what's in these boxes is a randomization. It could be gold, an armor upgrade, a resurrection, or absolutely nothing. So it's kind of a roll of the dice there, which is fine by me, but that's how you go about getting an increase of these. Oh well, the armor ones do also drop off of creatures, elites, and then obviously here you have XP coins, the time it takes you, and the damage you've taken. For the ranking, the more stars you get depends on the damage you've taken and more importantly, the time it takes you to get through the mission. Now, another issue, we'll go into an actual game now with somebody. The game feels good, it's responsive, the combat is decent, it's entertaining, it's not difficult on the eyes at all. The weapons have this heavy feel to them, even though it doesn't affect your aim or anything else. You can see a recoil, you can feel the power coming from a weapon, which is very important. Now, different weapons play differently. I don't personally like the shotgun. I feel it's too slow, but it's supposed to be a heavy power weapon. But there are different ways of playing the game, and it all depends on what you enjoy. The issue with stun lock that we were talking about, how to get around that would be playing with somebody else. This has a co-op up to 4 people, which helps balance out some of those issues there, because they can take some of that aggro or kill the enemy before they can finish you off, which is really important. And you think, well, why don't you just dodge everything? If you got 6 guys coming on you, it's kind of hard to dodge everything. And so another thing you need to keep in mind with the combat is there's different types of creatures. There's grenade throwers, there's shooters, there's melee robots, there's little turret ones, there's machine gunners, you have robots that stun you, the robots that blow up in your face, you got mines on the map. There's a bunch of different ways that you can die, and when you mix a combination of these creatures, it can be a really interesting or frustrating time, which is fun in its own. Now, one gripe I do have about it that I feel really needs to get fixed is there is no in-game communication availability. Now, I don't expect some high-rate AAA in-game communication, voice recognition, let's talk to your teammates capability, but having something as simple as a communicational hub where you can talk to your party members is always nice. One thing you have to realize, any game developer, is it doesn't matter how good or bad your game is, if you don't unite the community behind your game's gonna suck and burn out. If no one can talk to each other inside the game, your game's not gonna last. So hopefully this is early access. I want to stress that right there. Obviously, if you're playing with your friends, you can just use Ventrilo or TeamSpeak or whatever. But if you're just playing with random people, it would be nice to do something. Because you never know when you'll make another friend. But really, that's the only... Getting stun locked and not having a chat option, which can both be fixed, like I said, early access, is really a small negative on this. The graphics are fine, the resolution options are beautiful, the music, you know, okay, it's not the best, but it lasts. If you're just gonna play it casually now and again, it's fine. But the feel of the game is good. Ooh, bucks. Alright, so destroy the Guardians. Here you have a mini boss. Obviously these guys aren't going to be too difficult because of the level of the map, but they're basically a mini boss. And ads keep spawning in the entire time, which is good and bad because they offer, get away from me Stunbot, got me, and explosive bots. Which is good because they can offer ammunition drops, which can be helpful. Like he did right there. So overall, how would I rate this? It respects my time as a gamer, and I don't feel I've wasted my money, and that's what matters. It allows me to feel powerful in my killing. It rewards me for being good, and if I die, then it's like, okay, well, you know, whatever. And if they fix the reasons why I would die because of stun lock, then it'd be even less of an issue. This game overall respects your time, and therefore I can respect it. In my opinion, it's worth the money. It's a decent, cute little game that gives you hours on hours of fun, different weapons to experiment with and kill things, and a community to play with. It feels responsive, except for some of the animations. Some of the dodging, especially when you're attacking, needs to be fixed. But overall, minus all those little features, this game is worth it. I mean, for $4 to $5, get a bunch of your friends together, you know, four friends, 2 friends, you know, whatever, meet people online, just join someone else's game, have some fun with it. I mean, it's worth it. Thank you everybody for watching. I have been SocioPsycho. See you next time.